We'll start with an opening statement from Greg McDermott.
You know, it was, we've talked about energy and effort and you know, sometimes when you win a game, it's not quite as good as you think. When you lose a game, it's not as bad as you think. When you look at the film, as I evaluated the St. John's loss, my feeling was it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I thought our shot quality was good, and we missed shots, and I thought they made some where we defended pretty good. But there was a few instances where maybe our inability to make shots affected our fight on the other end of the floor, and that was not the case this afternoon. We were the first to the floor oftentimes. Sometimes we dove on the floor when we didn't even need to, and those are things that need to continue to happen. We fought a very big, physical, long team on the backboards, toe-and-toe. We forced them into 19 turnovers. So just really proud of the team. I mean, we are down to nothing right now on the bench. You know, Caleb gave us a great lift, and Sam and Christian, and with Martine's foul trouble, did an awesome job. So it's a really good win. You know, it's we've had a lot of close games with Xavier, and they've had a lot of close games in this league, and I certainly didn't expect a 22-point win, but I'm proud of our team for being able to do that.
Questions for the student athletes first.
Martine, I guess this is the second time in your career you scored 23. Both of them came against arguably the two toughest front lines in the Big East. Is there something about the challenge of going up against bigger physical defenders that, I don't know?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't wait for Big East to start because I like to play with more physical players, faster players, longer wingspans, and that just gives me a better look for what I have to look for. And they weren't switching that much at the end, so I made those big guys run, so they got a little tired. And yeah.
What was the game plan for you in both matches? Hankins is a shot blocker, Jones is more physical. What was the mindset in attacking both of those guys today?
We were just trying to three-quarter the pass, and then if the pass goes in, just try to dig it out with guards. So we executed that pretty well.
Martine, there are a couple instances where I feel like you were pretty patient with a guard on you, just sort of waiting for either him to make a move or you to find the right timing. How much have you worked on that, just trying to take advantage of a mismatch and not maybe rush it or do something you don't need to?
I mean, when you have a guard on you, they're like glass. They can break quickly. If you lean on them a little strong, he's just going to fall down and ref's just going to blow their whistle. So I had to stay patient and drive with my hips instead of my upper body, and that gave me a chance to score.
Jonathan, you guys shot three for the first 9 minutes of the game. Do you, I guess, first of all, do you remember a stretch in a Creighton jersey where that has happened? And then two, I guess, how did it feel offensively, even though you guys hadn't put up a three yet, and that's kind of what your offense is predicated on scoring by?
Yeah, it's obviously a different look for us. Usually we get a lot up, but like Teeny talked about, we utilized the switch, and Teeny got a smaller guy on him multiple times. And games in the past, we haven't been able to get him the ball, myself and the guards included. But this game, we took advantage of mismatches and we threw it in, and then we just went to work inside out. And for the majority of the half, it was inside. So we went to what was working, and he was doing his thing, so we just kept giving it to him.
Any reason, Mitch, from your perspective, why it was easier, why you guys got the ball into him and maybe you hadn't in the past?
I think it was just becoming aware of it on film. We go over it multiple times with the coaches, talking about post feeds, and it'll just make our lives a whole lot easier on the outside. And then when he finishes with 23 points in the paint, to give us that paint presence, it's big because going forward they'll have to respect that, and they can't get out to shooters, and then they'll be late, and then we start hitting shots, and then our offense is unstoppable.
Martine, 7 for 7 from the line today after earlier struggles. That had to feel real good today, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just had to get back in a rhythm. I mean, I've been working a lot on it. Coach Matt helped me a little bit too, and just stay focused.
Anything else for the student athletes?
Mitch, I just wonder, like, did you guys pinpoint, did you ever find sort of the reason why you thought maybe you were flat on Wednesday And maybe did that help as you prepared for today to make those corrections? Or maybe, I don't know, I'm just kind of curious what you guys think is the reason for why you weren't as sharp, as energetic on Wednesday and why you were today.
I think it's just a mindset. Mentally, like we talked about last week, our preparation for the game against St. John's, it was there. We just didn't execute the game plan when we came in. So flipping the mindset and just what we had practiced the 2 days previous to the game today, we just talked about having a different mentality coming in and just executing the game plan that we put in place the 2 days before. And I think we did. The score shows for itself that we executed our game plan a whole lot better than we did on Wednesday.
Not much you guys were fighting the post, digging at it. How did you guys also hold Scruggs and Marshall and Gooden, kind of keep them out of rhythm while you were also devoting a lot of bodies to the inside game?
I would honestly dedicate that to the mentality again, just because in the first half we were flying around. That was probably one of the better halves we've played defensively, and then we started a little sluggish again in the second half, but we got over that hump, and then we kept flying around again. But Davion and Tyshawn did a great job initially on those guys, holding them to 11 points total, so that's huge. Obviously, those are their two go-to guys. So when you get them off the line and we are still taking the big fella out of the game, then it's really effective. Plus, it just happens with the mentality and the energy of flying around. So I think that's the key to it.
One more for the student athletes.
The only time Jones missed was when he was guarded by you. What did you do this time?
That was when Marshall was on the baseline. He hit that little shuffle pass. I kind of got a hand on the ball. Might have fouled him a little bit, and then I didn't box out. I turned to look. I'll hear about that tomorrow, so we'll see. But just I wasn't breaking like glass, you know. Playing a little hard.
Thanks, gentlemen. Questions for Coach?
Were you guys running the zone in the second half, or just sagging?
No,
the gaps?
we probably played 10 or I would say 10, 11, 12 possessions of zone.
Okay.
They got in a little bit of rhythm early, and we switched to it, gave up an offensive rebound, and but I just thought it made him take a little bit more time maybe. And our bench is really thin, as we know, and then we'll find out. Marcus may have broke his hand, so we'll find out there this afternoon.
Normally, when we talk about Tyshawn, it's usually after a good scoring game. But it seems like his activity level, just in plays that aren't going to show up ever on the stat sheet, it seemed like he was all over the place.
He made a lot of winning plays today that as you mentioned, do not show up on the stat sheet. And for a guy that's scored as consistently as he has to get the ball inside, make the extra pass. I mean, it was evident that he was putting the team ahead of himself today, and he did a terrific job of it.
I know you need to watch the film, but do you think you maybe consider this the best bounce-back game from a loss all year?
Yeah. I mean, with Butler, we played pretty well defensively as well, and like I said, my guess is I'll watch this film, and it's not as good as probably I think it is right now. But you look sharp when you shoot 60% and they shoot 40%. And the other night, we shot 40%, they shot 60%, so everybody says we were flat and we weren't sharp. I mean, it's a make-shot, miss-shot game. Don't kid yourself. I mean, that's what this game's about. And sometimes you run the best plays in the world and the shots don't go in. And sometimes you feel like you defend a play pretty well and they make a tough shot. We're getting better. We're improving in areas that we really struggled in November and December. And we're doing it with an extremely thin bench right now with some injuries that we have, and an inability to practice the amount of time you'd like to practice to try to even get better at some of those skills, because you just can't beat their legs up right now because we got 6 or 7 guys that are playing all the minutes. So it's been a juggling act by my staff, and my guys have done a good job of trying to figure out how do we move us forward with also making sure we don't run these guys in the ground. They have enough gas left in the tank in March.
When was it that Marcus?
Early in the game. Yeah, one of the first plays, I think he got hit on a rebound, and it popped out. He popped it back in, but they think it's probably broke. So now it's just the severity of the break, and can we get him through the season, or is it going to need to be fixed and shut him down? So that's what we'll find out here the next 24 hours.
I think he took 2 shots. I mean, what is it about him that even with a broken hand?
I'll tell you what, you'd have to cut his hand off for him not to play. we were going to shut him down at halftime and talked with him and actually had his folks come back, and there's some tough, hard-nosed people. So like he was playing. But I also have a responsibility to him. So our doctors will take a look at it. We'll get an X-ray this afternoon, and then we'll go from there.
You guys only attempted three threes in the first half, which I think you were still at 1.3 points per possession. What did you like about the way your offense was kind of still being effective without?
Well, they were switching all their screens, so it's going to take away some of their rotations because you're switching. So that's where you get a lot of threes at times, and they committed quite a bit to defensive transition, so we weren't really able to get those transition threes we can get in some games. And we found some mismatches inside that we liked, and the guys were patient enough to get Martine and Sam and Christian some touches down there, and they were able to go to work and make some things happen. So we kind of took what Xavier gave us. They're a hard team to shoot threes over because they're so long and so physical. But with that switching, I think we're able to take advantage of some things that they were trying to do.
Two more for Coach.
Greg, this is your 200th win on the Creighton bench. I guess it's kind of hard to reflect on those things maybe in the middle of the season, but what does that mean to you, and can we expect you here for a 200th win?
Well, it means if you hang around long enough, you're going to win a lot, and sometimes you lose a lot as well. I'm blessed to be the coach here. I had never been anywhere longer than 6 years in my career, and now we're in year number 9 here, and I feel as hungry and blessed to be the coach here as I did on day one. So I'll probably coach till somebody tells me I can't.
Greg, Martine, he seems to have, when he gets the ball on the block, his game is kind of taking a different turn. What have you guys tried to work with him there, and what areas have you seen him get better at?
Mostly just his patience when he catches it. I think even last year when it went in there, like he felt like I have to make such a quick play, a quick post move, and we're still working on trying to get him to we've watched some film of Doug with him. Doug did such a great job of getting his feet in a position that when he caught it, he didn't have to make a post move. Your work was done, and you just catch it and finish. And he showed glimpses of being able to do that. We have to get better at that. But he's just become more patient. And in the past he would want to shoot a fadeaway, or he'd want to kind of go away from the contact. Now he's going through the contact, and as a result he's getting to the free throw line more. And and he's really done a good job in conference play of making his free throws. So he's really important to what we do, and his activity level and what he's doing right now, and defensively, and his communication has been really good.
Thank you, Coach.
Go ahead.
I know you guys are trying to focus on the process versus necessarily the fixed result of wins and losses, but how big was this win considering you have 3 in a row on the road coming right at you?
It's important. I mean, obviously the process is our priority because these guys, most of them are all back, so we just got to keep moving forward and keep trying to establish what our identity is as a group. And when you have all these young guys that are going through this, a lot of them for the first time, and the roles that they're in, there's some you run into some T intersections. You have to figure out which way to go, and we're gradually figuring that out. Like, here's how we have to play defensively. Here's what's important on the backboards. Offensively, our numbers say when the ball touches the second side, we're 0.3 points per possession better than if it's just on the first side, and them understanding what that means and how is that applicable to the game. So and I said before, I honestly believe if we just continue moving forward with the process, that the results will take care of themselves. That's just the way it works. But as soon as you get too result oriented and that's all you care about, you forget about how to get there. So we've made sure with this group that we're focused on the process. We're focused on improvement. And if we do that, we'll win our share of games in the long run. Thanks.